So let's think about this. If there's a business out there doing everything in its power to comply with the governor's directives to inhibit the spread of coronavirus, like social distancing, cutting down on capacity, requiring people to wear face coverings, and then a business, similar business, say across the street, is not doing any of that, should both businesses suffer the consequences? Well, the answer actually is no, but it takes a lot of manpower to keep an eye on every single business in the city. So the city of Las Vegas does take the governor's directives very seriously. So we have just put an additional 100 people out on the streets to help with observation and enforcement. They are called compliance ambassadors. Compliance ambassadors work in teams. They start the day with a map of areas of the city where complaints are concentrated concerning businesses that may not be complying with the state's directives to curb the spread of the coronavirus. There are about 100 ambassadors, half work with business license compliance and half work with Parks and Rec, looking at compliance on sports fields. The goal is for the team to visit every business and field in the city.
Their job is to help provide another layer of compliance by being the eyes and ears of our enforcement teams, keeping an eye on businesses to ensure that they are operating the way the directives require them to operate, helping assist in our community centers and our parks and rec fields by ensuring that things like youth sports are being conducted in a way that's compliant with the directives and that is providing for the public's health and safety.
The ambassadors may not conduct enforcement actions, but by being out here, they can point enforcement officers to those who are not following the rules.
One of the big things that the compliance ambassadors are helping with, because they're out there doing those observations, it's freeing up our actual compliance officers to address those, for lack of a better word, bad apples, the ones who aren't complying with the directive, who are, in some cases, we've actually had a couple who just seem to refuse to comply with the directive.
This enables officers to focus on the individual establishments in noncompliance instead of entire industries. Robert Summerfield explains using gyms purely as an example.
We don't want an operator who's doing absolutely everything they can do to provide their service, but to provide it in a way that's safe for their customers and safe for our community, to be further impacted by this COVID-19 pandemic by being shut down because another gym down the street or elsewhere even in the city is not complying with those rules and not following the directives.
Now, the city did not go out and hire 100 new employees. Instead, they trained individuals who already work for the city and who were chosen to participate in the program. They had more than 40 hours of classroom study on what to look for, how to properly communicate with the public on the directives, how to properly document and report to enforcement officers, as well as many hours of ride-along training. Their work frees up the enforcement arm of compliance to issue warnings and fines, which, by the way, is sort of a 3 strikes and you could be out if after several warnings, re-inspections, and fines, there is still a refusal to obey the directives.
The next step is you will be shut down for 2 weeks. Your license will be suspended for 2 weeks. That is where we're at with this process. And if, God forbid, after that suspension, we have another problem with that business, they will be put on for city council for their license to be revoked. And at that point, not only are they shut down, but they may never be allowed to reopen.
Summerfield says closing down a business is never the ultimate goal. City leaders know an open economy is a healthy economy. But now, with an even stronger contingent out here helping to enforce the governor's coronavirus safety directives, the health of our residents also remains a top priority. Now, this new program not only protects residents, it also protects those businesses that are working very hard every day to comply with the governor's directives. If you see something or experience something you feel is a violation, you can file a report. Just send the complaint to license@lasvegasnevada.gov, or you can call 702-229-6281.